What up, y'all? So this is gonna be about a part 2 to the kind of demon possession, vibration, and the dimensions of the narcissist and us, you know, just in general, like how we coincide and how we differ. But what I wanted to get at as a part 2 to this was that, well, let's kind of recap real quick. So you got sociopath, psychopath, and I believe all of the narcissists, but are dealing with demonic possession, but out on a different level. Meaning, like, the spectrum for them, the spectrum for us is us dealing with humanity and sin, and like repentance or acceptance of things that leave us on our hierarchy of spectrum. Okay, but on the narcissist level, their spectrum is based on how bad the demon possession is, and that's what I believe their spectrum is. Okay, so like if you have, you know, one demon in you, you might be at a low spectrum of narcissism. Okay, the lowest spectrum. But if you have, like, say 10 demons or 100 demons, you're going to be at the higher spectrum. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, this is how I believe it vacillates. Okay, because I have seen stuff, and there's a lot of people online that have too. And when you start typing it in because you have seen stuff and other people have too and dealt with them, and they're exactly like the just like Satan himself in the Bible. I mean, literally. Now, I mean, I do believe that there's possibly I like to have hope and faith that there is, you know, that there is some sort of ability for the narcissist to get help through God. Okay, so I mean, I always leave a little crack in the door for that. So it's like I mean, I'd hate to give up hope on anybody in the world, but you can't help them. That's not my point. Is you can't help them in a love partner relationship. Now, the reason why I go down this road a little bit is because there's people online here that have children, you know, that are growing up, and they're seeing these kind of attributes in them, and they want to help them. And at more of that type of age, or if they're your child or something, then I think that you need to definitely have an influence on them as best you can, but you cannot smother anybody, especially a narcissist, or somebody that's, you know, narcissistic, that, you know, is heading down that route and that road because maybe their other opposite parent is, you know, is causing this in their life. But so, okay, with that being said, generally speaking, once we get at least a certain age and there's kind of no going back for them, and that sort of thing, we're talking about, we're on a spectrum of, that's how I believe they are. You know, so like a psychopath, sociopath is going to have a lot more heavily operating dark demons or demonic spirits in them that they're dealing with, or some sort of entity that is not of God. Okay, but like I said, that they start out with just like us. They have the mind, will, the emotions. They have the flesh, the body, and all of that, and then they have the spirit man. And the only way, and you know, biblically speaking, the only way you get power over your flesh, and if you have some other higher power, fine, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to force my ways on anybody, but I still, this is how I believe, and this is how I've experienced even with God. Okay, so take the meat and throw the bones, if you will. But so this is the only way that we believe that we get power and over your flesh. Okay, now with that said, at least in the correct fashion. Now, but with that said, you know, so you need the spirit man to control the flesh. And what kind of is involved with the flesh is the mind, will, and the emotions, because they are kind of are in the same. If you don't have a spirit man then the mind, will, emotions, and the flesh are gonna, they're all gonna be controlled by the flesh. How about that? There you go. The mind, will, and the emotions, generally speaking, is gonna be controlled by the flesh. But with the spirit man, whether you're a saved Christian or not, you know, like, because there's people out there that are very good people, and they just don't, you know, just either choose not to know the Lord, or they don't know the Lord. That's fine. I'm not trying to, but I have to explain it in my way. And so, but my point is like, when you shut down the spirit man, period, then you're not humanity anymore. Whether you're saved or unsaved, doesn't matter. I mean, you're not humanity anymore. So that's what the narcissist did. At some point in time, they were coaxed, or their construct, which is a coaxing, they got too close to the narcissist. So they got, as a golden child, or as the one that was mistreated, maladaptively mistreated, they began to, you know, go down a route that they wanted to be like the narcissist. And I don't believe, honestly, I don't believe that that's what they felt like they had to do, as much as maybe, you know, that's what it looks like. But I don't think that that's the case, because they could have went the route of us as well. And I believe, like I always say, that we are innately who we are, and we're just playing out who we really are on this earth, so that when we go to judgment, that God has evidence of that. You know, so he lets us, you know, play out our deeds of who we truly are, so that we have, there's no way we can say we didn't do that, or we didn't believe that, or we weren't that we all have an opportunity. Okay. And God gives, the choice to choose, and he lets us freely choose. And I believe that, they got, actually, they liked it. They liked it. Not to say they can go down that path for several years and then decide, oh my God, man, this is horrible, because God's allowed them to see the light. But I'm saying, like, but generally speaking, what we're talking about here, 95% of them, how about that? We'll just go with that. We'll give the 5% for, you know, repentance, right? I mean, because, you know, whatever. But generally speaking, they go down that path, and they start to be enticed by it. They start to like it. They start to get into it. You know, you get into a hobby, right? When you get into a hobby, you start to like it. Now, but you got to understand, they're not going to ever be happy. They're not going to be, they're always going to be dealing with anger and hate and all that. But that doesn't mean they don't like it. You know, our love is what they consider hate. I mean, really. I mean, so, you know, I mean, our revenge is us being a better version of ourselves. Their revenge is them taking you out, digging a hole, and knocking your teeth out and busting you to pieces. I mean, so it's just, don't get it twisted. You know, we think differently, but it doesn't mean that, you know, that they don't enjoy, even though they look sad and evil and all that they don't enjoy that. They enjoy it. I mean, they have to. In my opinion, they have to. But the thing is they're fighting the human side of them, and that's why to us it looks like that they don't enjoy it. Okay, because they're going against nature, their body, and what God originally created in them. They're going against it completely. And so when you go against something completely, the rest of humanity, at least, is going to see what they're dealing with and what they're looking like. And that, you know, you can't, when you just can't go against the nature of God and be blessed. And even though that they enjoy treating people like that and walking in the cursing, they can't really enjoy it, because they still have to deal with the human side of God's creation, and it goes against that. So there's different things going on there. But my point is this: when they decided that they enjoyed, or they started to understand the construct of their father or mother or caregiver or whoever, and they started to be like, yo, I could learn to like this. Let me pick up on, if I start doing this, well, it's going to give me that. And if I start acting like this, well, then I'm going to receive that. Okay. So this is kind of how this stuff would work, right? Because this is how it works in any hobby. Well, if I eat really good and work out, I'll build more muscle and I'll lose fat. And if I eat less calories every day, if I'm in a calorie deficit, that belly fat's going to go away, right? That's because it's a hobby or something that you get into and you're kind of enticed by it. And an enticing thing can be good or bad, you know, I mean, but this is how they went down this construct. And then it turns into, you know, after a while, it's not like I can get that, but now it's like, gimme, 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 gimme. I gotta have it, gotta have it, gotta have it. Then the fangs start dropping, you know, I gotta have it. You know, give me that meat, you know, give me that empath. I gotta drain them, you know, and then it takes over. But my point is they slowly shut down that spirit man. And remember, I always say that they're a walking blasphemy. They are what I call the living mark of the beast, or like Romans 1, 20 through 31. And like I said, if you have children that are heading down this route, do your best to get them off this route. I'm not saying, I don't want to say that there is no hope for like people, you know, heading down this path, but at a certain point in time, I do believe God gives up on you. But I like I said, I like to leave a 5% hope for people, because I mean, I don't determine that anyway. I'm just discussing things. I always like to say I'm judging, not discussing, and I don't want you all to like hang up on me. I don't want you to like unsubscribe, but I do want to discuss this, and I'm not going to stay on this topic forever. I just wanted to put this out because I know that there's a spiritual component to it, and then it's not a good one. Okay? It's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. Okay? And I think we can all admit that there isn't a spiritual component to it, at least if you're on my channel. And it's not good. It's evil. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and then I'll be done. Okay, so what they did was they gave up on the spirit man. And when you give up on the spirit man, they slowly shut that door. And when they shut that door, and I believe it's a right brain thing, because, and I'm going to go over that too, because everything in the Bible and everything in the world, for the most part, the motif, if you understand a motif, is cursed on the left side and blessed on the right. And I'm going to go over that in detail. And they shut the right brain down for the most part. And right brain is where love, happiness, joy, creativity is. And this is why they operate like AI. But when they shut down that spirit man, once they finally closed that door and said no, there was a vacuum in there and had to be filled with something. And that's where the spirits, they actually walked in. You remember it says that, you know, when you listen to Father Malachi Martin and people like the guy who wrote Children of the Lie, the book that I had read, or The People of the Lie, I forgot his name now, Peck, but he said that they all, even the younger kids, the people that were, well, when they first got possessed, they were like young, and they did something either, you know, went over to ghost hunting, or they did Ouija boards, they did seances and stuff, and witchcraft that opened doors. You never want to open doors. But where these narcissists open doors, if they didn't allow it in by accepting it because they loved the construct so much, where they allowed it in and accepted it is where they shut the door on their spirit man. It left a vacuum and the demons just walked in. They were a walk-in. And whether they just walk in and walk out of them, I don't know, but that would consider them an empty seater at this point. Or what they'd call in the world today, there's people that talk on these empty portals or biological portals or whatever. That would be humans that don't control themselves. They're just here, but they have no spirit man. And when you shut down the spirit man, you cannot turn it back on, is my opinion. I don't think you can turn it back on. That's why now when that happens, that all the love sectors and stuff, they get shut down and turned off on your MRIs and PET scans and stuff. Okay? And they believe the lies that they tell when they're lying on, and they can pass lie detector tests because the demons in them are in control of everything. So it's surpassing whatever they, whatever humanity would think they could believe is would know is a lie or the truth. So they can make them believe anything. With no spirit, man, they always used to say, remember, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Meaning, if I did something, if I had sin in my life, it's like, I really didn't want that sin in my life, but I let the fleshly man take over. So they're running off the brain, the mind, will, and the emotions. The mind, will, and the emotions is mixed with the flesh, and they have no spirit man to control it. And the spirit man is the only thing that can overpower the mind, will, the emotions, and the flesh. And how can you get delivered? See, this is why they can't get delivered from demons, and this is how they became a blasphemous state walking the earth today as a soulless portal. Is this. How do you get deliverance from demons when they are housing your spirit man? They're in house. They have moved into the spirit man position because God moved out. So how do you put God back in control of something that you told God to get out? I mean, and how do you deliver a demon that's sitting in the house of the spirit man position? See, people that get delivered of demons, they still have their spirit man. It's just pushed down. They let it in, and then they wish they didn't, and it continually, slowly took over. But they did not want it to happen. In the situation with the narcissist, I think that God gave them to a certain age, and I think that's why you cannot diagnose them, because God shows you the truth in parts of the lie. He always shows you the truth. That's how they have to tell it around here. So if they tell you they can't get diagnosed until they're the age of 18, that's probably because God actually gives them the opportunity to change until they're 18. But they were probably in a constant battle to say, no, 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 I don't want you. Leave, leave, leave. And God still stuck around as that spirit man, maybe smaller and smaller and smaller. But he was like, I'm still here. But when you turn 18, I'm totally leaving. And that's why we have to tell the narcissist no, and we need to totally leave. Because God left them too, and he gave them a bunch of chances. And this is why they can't get delivered, because that God's left the spirit man. God's, you know, as far as the option, they still have to get saved. They would still have to get saved. But God left the spirit man, and he let the spirit man slowly dwindle until the age of 18, is my opinion. And maybe he let them be in there until the age of 18 and 364 days, the day before they turn 19, which would give them plenty of opportunity to make a decision like that, at least. Because if they were still wishy-washy at that age, maybe he would have stuck around longer. But God knows the beginning from the end, and I do believe that they were innately who they were, just like we are innately who we are. But I mean, like I say, I have made changes in my life, big changes in my life, but it never really changed the innateness of who I really was. But this is the thing. Somebody can operate and look evil for a long, long time and then change. But I don't know how much that their innateness changed as much as they were dealing with things that to us from the outside look like that they really, really changed from their innateness. I'm saying to go deep, 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 deep into the deep seed of who you really are. I'm not saying, because salvation does change you. Salvation does change you, but it changes you, but it doesn't change you from that little seed that you are. Meaning, like, if I never wanted to hurt people growing up, and I still don't. I always wanted love in my life, not hate. Okay, but you can live in the hate characteristic for a long, long time because you've been hurt. But that's just what we'd see as the hate. That person's hateful, but you don't know what's deep down. Deep down, their innateness is I don't want to hate, but I've been hurt in this world so bad that I am choosing to hate right now. But that doesn't mean that they enjoy it. Now, when you get to a point to where you like it, or that you've been born into liking it, that's why I believe that God says he knew us before we were here. He knew Jeremiah, and in the beginning of Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, it says that I knew you, Jeremiah, and I called you to be a prophet unto the nations. I knew you before you were here. I knew you in your mother's womb. I knew you before your mother. Okay? He knew you too. And I believe that, I don't know, in a certain kind of sense, maybe we were in a prequel to this earth, that we were in a controlled environment, and we were all tested with the same tools, the same functions, and the same opportunities. And some of us chose good, evil, and some of us were mediocre. And then God placed us in the families that we were supposed to be in the place of in the earth that we were supposed to be in, the country, the city, the blood type, and everything, our fingerprint, our race, color, and creed. Okay, and he knew what was fair for all of us, based on that prequel of that controlled environment that he put us in before we were placed in our mother's womb. Because I do believe God is fair. God is fair. Whatever we did before here, he knew it, and I believe that he tested our spirits, maybe. I don't know. This is all theory. But I think I'm close. I'm getting close. I'm getting close, y'all. I'm sorry this is 21 and a half minutes. I hope you like it. Even if you don't, I have to get it out. Because I'm tired. I get tired of people that always they're always preaching on TV fakeness. They're always lying to us, faking to us, or doing things for numbers and money and stuff. And, you know, at some point, you got to not give a shit. You got to come out with what you really feel, damn it. Okay, so I hope you like it. I hope you don't unsubscribe, and I hope that you'll take a minute to sit back and think at it for, you know, what it is, and take the meat and throw the bones. But this is what I believe. There's something going on in this field. This is not something that I have any kind of what do you call it? You know, I'm not partial to anything. I mean, really. The modern day church would stone me if they knew, you know, how I live or how I believe, because they ain't living, and they ain't living it. They ain't stuff they talking about on TV and stuff. These past they don't read the scripture like it's supposed to. They're not. That's not right. Prosperity gospel and all those jet airplanes and stuff. That's not right, man. Prosperity is provision to do God's work and to speak the truth as best you can, and to live it the best you can. Now, we all have problems with that, and that I don't necessarily judge so much as you know, at least speak it, at least preach it the way the word says. Don't lie to the people. That's all. That's all. I'm gonna post this in the morning so I can see if I can get more people to get out there and to search the search engine to get kicking, you know, because I want this one to get out. But I love y'all. Give me a thumbs up. We got to get this thing out. Get it populating. And peace out, y'all. Stand tall, soldier up all the time, every day, man. And you know, love the Lord, man, because he's your power and your might. He's your strength. At the end of the day, you want to be on the side of the Redeemer, and you want to be on the side of the one who wins all battles. Even when you're in the midst of the battle and you don't think you're winning, if you're with the Lord, or if you got the Lord, better is a thing in the end than the thing in the beginning. And you don't have to get the enemy back, because the Lord will do it all in the end. He will make them as if they're blotted out, never to have existed. So peace, y'all. Stand up for what's right and stand tall every day. Soldier up. We out.